I know that great Purusha, who is just like sun, and who is beyond the darkness of ignorance. It is only by knowing him that one attains immortality. There is no other road to eternal bliss.
There is one original question and one original answer to it. Between the original question and the original answer, there are innumerable false answers. These false answers are such as I am a stone, I am a bird, I am a man, I am a woman, I am great, I am small, are in turn received, tested, and discarded until the question arrives at the right and final answer. I am God. I am God. I am God. I am God. Still the truth is the wave cannot claim to be an ocean. And so, when the God appears in human form on the physical plane, they recognize him as Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Christ, and his avatar, Meher Baba. The Ancient One, the highest of the high, the answer of all the questions. Avatar, also known as Rasul, Messiah, and God-man. Avatars are of various kinds: Purna Avatar, Amsa Avatar, Avesha Avatar, Leela Avatar, for the preservation of the universe. Avatar Meher Baba is the last and Sampurna Avatar of this age. An avatar never passed through the evolution, reincarnation, and involution process. He is directly from God to man. In simple language, from Nirakar to Sakar, from steam to H2O. The avatar is so ahead of his time that the human race, due to ignorance, fails to recognize him during his stay on earth. To realize the true state of the avatar takes the human race more than 100 years. The avatar first works for his circle, next he works for his lovers, and then for the entire world.
O Meher Baba, O Meher Baba, O Meher Baba, Avatar. Meher Baba, now that you're beside me, it's heartward that you guide me. There can be no other beloved and lover, all in you. Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Avatar. Meher Baba, no too good. I carry love divined, love deeply buried, always ending up nowhere. Now Meher, my heart belongs to you. Meher Baba, oh Meher Baba, oh Meher Baba, Avatar. Meher Baba, you gestured to follow and asked would I give my all. Oh, the secret in dying is in all things trying to see you. Meher Baba, oh Meher Baba, oh Meher Baba, Avatar. Meher Baba, the distance to cover is managed by the lover. tightly, who holds most tightly onto you. Meher Baba, oh Meher Baba, oh Meher Baba, Avada, oh Meher Baba, oh Meher Baba, oh Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, Avada, Meher Baba.
I first heard of Meher Baba when I went to visit my mother's apartment, and she had a photograph of Meher Baba and his face. He was old, and at the bottom were the words, "Don't worry, be happy." And I had known of many people who had gurus and they would go to ashrams, and I thought this was the worst. I thought, "Don't worry, be happy," had no wisdom, it was silly. And I asked her, "Who is that?" And she said, "Meher Baba." I thought that was a crazy name. Other gurus had more elegant names. And I said, being polite to my mother, I said, "Well, who is he?" And she said, "Well, he's the avatar." I thought, oh, another Eastern word. So many Westerners are into these Eastern things. I said, "What's an avatar?" And she said, "Well, Jesus was an avatar." And I said, "Oh." And I went down and swam in her pool, and she looked after my children. It was my once a week vacation day. And then I went home, and throughout my life, God used to come to me as beloved God, and now it came as Meher Baba. And I was very upset. Who is this Meher Baba? Why am I having this in my consciousness coming as this sweet divine energy and voice, and is saying Meher Baba? And my mind is saying, this is crazy. It's just something my mother's doing, and I'm not interested in this. And I would try not to think of Meher Baba. I would actively say, I am not going to think of Meher Baba. And I would wash the dishes, take care of my children, and again, Meher Baba. And my mind was going crazy. So the next week, it was my day to go to my mother's, and I was a very meek child, and my mother was very shocked when she opened the door, and I yelled at her, and I pointed, and I said, "You have got to tell me more about this Meher Baba, because all I can do is think of him, and I don't know anything." And she didn't know what to say. So she was saying, well, he would have ashrams, and well, then he would destroy the ashrams, and my mind is like, this is really crazy. And meanwhile, something big was beginning to happen inside me I didn't understand. But I pictured this typical guru walking around in sandals in India, starting ashrams, destroying ashrams for no apparent reason. My mind was going crazy. And I pictured him like in my mind's eye, like here. And when she said in 1969 he dropped his body, that snapped. I felt a big sound well up in me, like a big cosmic rumbling. Everything disappeared and became God. I saw God alone is. Everything in her apartment disappeared and became God is. I saw that. In that instant, I knew who Meher Baba was. I knew my connection to him. I knew everything about him. I knew the whole story, and I had no questions. And I don't know how long it took me to come out of that state, but slowly everything took form again and became normal. And I felt a little bit confused. And I was in that state, but I was trying to come down to this state, and I just stayed with my mother until I became more normal. And then when I read the first book was The God Man by C.B. Purdom, and he would start an ashram, destroy an ashram, he would do this and that. I had no questions.
When I first went to Meherabad, I was totally unaware of who Meher Baba was. Except for the name Meher Baba, I knew nothing about him. But slowly, very slowly, I got to love him. I got to love him as someone who was there looking after my son on the other side. I got to love him as a person, not as a god. I got to love him as someone who had come from nowhere to be with me not knowing anything about him, and slowly my love developed. And every subsequent visit to Meherabad, meeting different people, talking to them and relating with them made me understand who Baba was.
Meher Baba, Mazhari Haq, Maliko Parvardigar.
Avatar Meher Baba was the son of a great spiritual seeker, Shehryar Mundigar Irani, from Khorramshahr, Iran. At the age of 12, he filled with a desire to experience God after many years. One day, after nearly 40 days of fasting, he heard this voice.
He whom you seek, he whom you wish to see, his attainment is not destined for you, your son. It is your son who will attain it, and through your son, you.
Inspired by this, Shehryar traveled to his sister in India, settled in Pune, marrying a simple and courageous woman called Shireen. During the time of expectancy, she had seen many remarkable dreams and visions. She had a painless delivery of a son named Merwan on the 25th of February 1894, as we know him today as Avatar Meher Baba. Many miraculous incidences happened in Merwan Irani's childhood. As a teenager, he is already inclined towards spiritualism. A famous Sufi and spiritual master of that time, Hazrat Babajan, kissed Merwan's forehead in 1914, which took him to the almost state of God realization for 9 months.
Meher Baba's 5 perfect masters, Baba Jan, Sai Baba, Upasni Maharaj, and then Narayan Maharaj and Tajuddin Baba. So Sai Baba and Sai Baba, Upasni Maharaj and Baba Jan, they played main role in bringing him down into creation consciousness. So what happened, Baba was in Pune and he was in the college, Deccan College. So he was cycling, and one day when he was passing through Babajan, so he saw so many people there, so he got down from the cycle and he was looking at her, and then Babajan herself came to him and she just touched his forehead. She kissed, and then as soon as she kissed, he got divine consciousness.
It was Sai Baba of Shirdi who first recognized him as God.
Baba went there along with one of his friend, college friend, a school friend, and then people were just running because they said that Sai Baba is in very bad mood today, don't go there, and they were running. But Baba went, and when Baba went, he said Parvardigar, Parvardigar, Parvardigar thrice, and Parvardigar means the head, God. So then he gave him inner sign, and there was in Khandova temple there was Upasni Maharaj.
Later, it was Upasini Maharaj who said this after being with him for 6 months. Merwan, you are the Avatar, and I salute you. Including Narayani Maharaj and Tajuddin Baba are the Merwan's first 5 perfect masters who were highly enlightened and connected. As Meher Baba himself said, that the 5 perfect masters who always exist in each age between 65 to 125 years. They are responsible for controlling the affairs of the world. At the end of 11 such ages, that is, after 700 to 1400 years, the perfect masters appealed to God to descend in human form in order to save the world from spiritual decline. God, out of His infinite mercy, then descends on earth as the avatar of the age. Avatar is always the same and one. He only changes his form at each period of his advent. Avatar Meher Baba constantly moved paces. In May 1923, he decided to rename Arangaon to Meherabad as his main center. Baba initiated strict discipline called labor yoga as he created a village of 500 workers.
Welcome home.
I am not here to create a cult, a society, an organization, or a new religion.
I am here to awaken.
As a great founder of the world religion, I invite man to break through all self-created prisons and taste the unlimited life which I bring. I ask you to love divinely, fearlessly, and limitlessly, and to rise above the limited self of separative ego mind.
My personal religion is my being the ancient infinite one, and the religion I impart to all is love for God, which is the truth of all religions. If instead of erecting churches, fire temples, mandirs and mosques, people were to establish the house of God in their hearts for beloved God to dwell in supreme, my work will have been done.
It is a mistake to look upon science as anti-spirit. Science is a help or hindrance to spirituality according to the use to which it is put. Scientific truths concerning the physical body and its life in the gross world can become a medium for the soul to know itself.
Poise, perfect poise. Make the most of every situation. He who upsets no one is a good man. He who is upset by no one is a God-man. God is love, and love must love. I am the only friend who never let you down. The powerhouse will never fail, provided the wires take care of their connection with it.
There is nothing irrational in true mysticism, when it is as it should be, a vision of reality as it is. It is a form of perception which is absolutely unclouded. It is so practical that it can be lived every moment of life and can be expressed in everyday duties. And its connection with experience is so deep that in one sense, it is the final understanding of all experience.
Where imagination ends, God is and Godhood begins.
In July 10th, 1925, Lord decided not to speak for the rest of his life. He said, "I have given enough words. It is now time to live them." He observed a maun, means a vow of silence.
You are all that I've ever asked for. You are more and even Lord. You are my everything, Meher, you are. I'm a mother and brother, and you. I'm a sister and lover, Meher, and you. I'm a everything, Lord. You alone. You alone, yes, you alone. You alone exist, Meher, Meher Baba.
My relationship with Baba as a child was as a member of the family. He was my uncle to me as a child growing up here in Nagar. Since I was fortunate to be born into the family, my father was one of Baba's brothers. I vividly recollect Baba on many occasions turning to me and saying, "Dara, I'm God, love me." And of course I would answer back, "Yes, Baba." And at the same time I would think, now, how does he want me to love him? I love him as an uncle, but of course he's asking me to love him as God. Now, how do I do that? Of course, I realize now that what Baba was doing was helping me to begin, and of course it's still a beginning even now, to love him as he should be loved. When I approached Baba, I was very sort of frightened and stiff. So Baba immediately sensed that this is not normal. So he beckoned me to him, and as soon as I got close enough to him, Baba started to tickle me. So of course, the next thing I knew, I was in his lap, and Baba was. And then Baba says, "Want to play games?" And of course, love to play games, Baba. And of course, playing games with Baba sitting on his lap was simple games that you hold the palm of your hand out, and the other person is supposed to slap it, and you move it. So of course, each time I would hold my palm out, Baba would hit it. And when it came to my turn, I would always miss. And then the other game was where you cup the fingers of your one hand in the other hand, and you're supposed to point out the middle finger. And again, every time I cup my fingers, Baba would catch my middle finger, and I would lose. And when it came to my turn, of course, I would end up either getting Baba's little finger, his thumb, any of the other finger except his middle finger. So after a few times of losing, I got frustrated, and I said, "Baba, it's not fair, you're cheating." And Baba looked very surprised, and he turned around and he said, "Look at this boy. I'm God, and he's accusing me of cheating." And to my good fortune, I said, "No, Baba, you're not cheating as God, you're cheating as my uncle." So Baba, of course, laughed, and he said, "Okay." And that's the little story.
All our lives we have been with Baba, and we understand what Baba has given us, the understanding that his love will prevail, and his love will thrust forward and bring all humanity together as one. And we are seeing this happen day to day, on a day-to-day basis. The religions are coming together, and as Baba has said years and years and years ago, that I have come to put all religions like beads on one string. And we see that happen now. And we hope that all humanity comes to love him as God in human form, as Buddha, as Krishna, as Ram, as Jesus, and now as Meher Baba.
And it is only he who picks you up to be his lovers, and we were so fortunate that he picked us up to be his lovers,
And we pray to him to pick more and more for everyone to be his lovers and enjoy his love and be in his presence all the time.
With his personality, vision, and power, it was never a difficult task for Lord Mayor to become popular overnight, as he never believed in publicity. He silently traveled through the Middle East, USA, and the Far East. While coming back from abroad, 3 women joined Baba's Mandali. In the Indian woman Mandali, Mehra and her mother were among the first to join Baba. Mehra was also associated with Hazrat Baba Jan. In this Advent, Meher Baba lived a pure and celibate life. Among his circle of men and women Mandali, Baba's closest disciple was Mehra, and he often said about her, "Mehra loves me as I should be loved."
I really needed to find out more about Hinduism and about Eastern philosophy. I read a lot of books, I studied a lot of people, I started meditating. And a few years later in Spain, someone came up to me and said, "You go to India a lot?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Have you heard about Meher Baba?" And I said, "Quite frankly, I'm barbered out. I've done the barbers, I've read a lot of books, I've been to a lot of places." And they gave me a book, he gave me a book. And I read it the next night, and I read it completely. And from that moment to this, which is over 30 years ago, I never changed my opinion of that. I thought Meher Baba was my perfect teacher, my perfect awakener, my guru. Every year I have returned here, and then 5 or 6 years ago I decided as my daughter was 20 I could come here and stay here for 4 or 5 months every year, and that's what I do.
You know, when people said Avatar Meher Baba, Avatar had no meaning for me. Who is an avatar? And then very slowly I got to learn that is the 5 perfect masters who give the avatar his godhood. I got to know about Sai Baba, I got to know about Upasni Maharaj, I got to know about all the other perfect masters. And as I live in Pune, Baba Chan began to have a big meaning for me. I used to go to Baba Chan Chowk and look and think and just watch and know, and slowly all the perfect masters began to have a greater meaning for me. And then I related them all to Meher Baba, and then eventually I got to know that the perfect masters are man become God and the avatar is God become man.
भगवान में हार बाबा की जय जय भगवान में हार बाबा की जय
Between 1937 to 1949, Baba went all over India to locate Mas, the God-intoxicated people. Most of the mast are stuck in inner plane. As Master knows all the stages of the journey with its traps, dangers and opportunity to the spiritual push, must experience greater awakening, greater poise, bliss and closer contact with the ultimate truth. Baba was connected with thousands of Mas, caring for them as his own children. As Baba said, "I work for Mas, and for knowingly and unknowingly must work for me." It's interesting that India and surrounding places have so many of these kind of souls. The answer Baba explained, India being nearest to the creation point, and therefore the most significant country in the world in the realm of spirituality. With the further advancement of spiritualism in the world, people will start to understand Baba after his 50th death anniversary.
There is no danger that this, we think that, atom bomb and hydrogen bomb, very, very powerful. but nobody knows that we have infinite power within us.
Baba used to bow before hundreds of people, helping, serving them, and taking nothing in return, touching innumerable souls. His unlimited work is still not understood by the limited human mind. As the new humanity awake, the understanding will occur in all automatically.
Say so? I'll come home.
In the late 40s, around 1949, Baba decided to start a new life. He closed all establishments, reduced his group to a core companions. Every day is a penniless fresh start. The group can have 1 meal in a day and clean its utensils. No one should have negative moods, including Baba. Baba said new life symbolizes for those who fear no one and nothing, who love God purely for the sake of loving, who believed in the lovers of God and reality of manifestation. As he concluded further, the new life will live by itself, eternally, even if there's no one to live it. After 100 days in seclusion, he had announced 4 months of Manonash. This to remove all the sanskaras of the soul, a very important phase in any human life.
The time comes when the evolution stops. Just animal remains animal, vegetable remains vegetable, and there is no development, because the impressions we go on collecting, and that's why it is just it goes on and on. So he has to come down on earth.
After the completion of Manonash, he announced full free life, where the ordinary normal life will blend with spiritual life. In 1954, at Hamirpur, Uttar Pradesh, he publicly declared that he is an avatar. Come all unto me. Baba has given darshan to thousands of people during this period. Baba mingled with pilgrims from weeks without break, embracing, caressing, encouraging, teasing and joking freely among everyone. Before going into a long seclusion, Baba has dropped his blood on East and the West. One car accident near Prague in May 1952, another in Satara, December 1956. In the first one, Baba's left side was badly damaged from head to foot. In the second, Baba's right side was damaged from head to foot. At the age of 70, he declared that the time has come for being bound in the chain of eternal connections. And about his inner work, he has the 100% satisfaction. Whoever seeks him can connect with him from any part of the world. As it is intellectually and logically difficult to understand the status of avatar, to experience this, one must get merged into him. As the realization of avatar happens in around 100 years, slowly and silently, he works on his mandali, his lovers and the entire world. Even today, Avatar Meher Baba has great number of followers all over the world, and this is increasing day by day as new humanity connect with spirituality. departed from his body on the 31st of January 1969. After this short journey on earth, his infinite energy is still working everywhere.
I am not this body. It is only a coat I put on. I sit with you, play with you, and laugh. But simultaneously, I am infinite consciousness working on all planes of existence. I am the divine beloved who loves you more than you can ever love yourself. My present avataric form is the last incarnation of this cycle of time. Hence, my manifestation will be the greatest. The impact of my love will be universal, and all life in creation will know.
बुझावे नार जहलत ने कर कुदरत ने फरमातू छिलागी आश भक्तों ने कि बख्शे नूर ईमातू आया मुर्शद मेहर बाबा चरण पर तुझ न धरिए सर खुदा ना जात थी वाकेफ थई बैठो मेहरबान तू छे मालिक हकीकत नो तू आशिक भी ने आरिफ भी तू छे दरियाए बहदत मारिफत नो होई तूफान तू हमो रहे रब में ए साले बख्श जे ज्ञान इज़्ज़त नू के तू परमात्मा ज्ञानी छने मुख्तार इरफान तू खुदाना प्रेम नो प्यालो पिलावे मस्त हमने कर छे तुझ पर जान सदके साकिया आपीद पैमा तू हमारी नाव भर दरिए तरावे तो हमें तरिए हमारा ना खुदा ए मेहर बाबा छेन गे बातू हमारा ना खुदा ए मेहर बाबा छेन गे बातू बुझावे नार जहलत ने कर कुदरत ने फरमा तू छिलागे आश भक्तों ने के बख्शे नूर ईमान तू
As in the great critical periods of human history, humanity is now going through the agonizing travail of spiritual rebirth. Great forces of destruction are afoot, and might seem to be dominant at the moment, but constructive and creative forces which will redeem humanity are also being released through several channels. And though the working of these forces of light is chiefly silent, it is eventually bound to bring about those transformations which will make the further spiritual sojourn of humanity safe and steady. It is all a part of the divine plan, which is to give to the hungry and weary world a fresh dispensation of the eternal and only truth.
World in his hand, it is leaping from the great avatar, it's sweeping from his scrubbing and rubbing with his endless grace. Still it reflects his lovely face, lovely face, lovely face. Rejoice, rejoice, and listen to his voice. We can hear him tell.